Hey everyone, welcome to Monday Night Empower Team Call. I am Natalie. If you don't know me, I hope you do know me. But tonight we're going to be talking about leadership, and Natalie Borges is going to be leading that. We have been week after week, we've been going back to the basics, and we have been talking about the 4 pillars of this business being recruiting, retaining, duplicating, and the 4th is leadership. And we're going to be talking about that right now. Leadership is probably one of the most obviously it's the final pillar, and one of those things that takes it takes a long time to really have arrived, but Natalie is going to do an awesome job talking to us about leadership. She's taught me so much about leadership, and she just has so much value to add for us tonight. So go ahead and take it away, Nat.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm excited. So I wanted to title this Becoming a Leader Who Inspires, because I feel like now more than ever, everyone wants to be inspired. Everybody. Sometimes I go on Pinterest to be inspired. Not gonna even lie. Like, inspire me, Pinterest. But I feel like there are even certain accounts that I will go to because I know that there's just going to be so much gold there. And so that's why I wanted to name this Becoming a Leader Who Inspires. If I say something that you really like, just give me a clap, because I can see all of y'all right now. Okay. So just wanted to share that. But I was thinking how is one of the questions I was asking myself was, is my Facebook, is my Instagram a place where somebody can draw inspiration? And that's a good question that we should all be asking ourselves too. Is my account, is my platform a place where people can draw inspiration from? Because if it's not, then we probably need to switch some stuff up, because people want to follow a leader who inspires. I saw this quote and I wanted to share it. It said, there's no need to be perfect to inspire others. Let people get inspired by how you deal with imperfections. So I don't know who said this, but isn't that so good? That's so good. Thank you, Nicole. Perfection is not part of leadership, but how you handle when you mess up and you're imperfect, that shows a lot about of your own leadership. So real quick, I'm going to just go through some things that I have jotted down. I felt like there was so much I wanted to share. And so I just want to real quick go through some things, and then we'll talk about knowing your why, knowing your priorities, and then we will end it with knowing your desired results. And so, but before we get to all of that stuff, I wanted to real quick, and if you want all of this that I just have written down here, just shoot me a message and I can get it to you. I'm going to kind of just go through these real quick. So leaders who inspire, they lead by influence. Leaders who inspire, develop, and coach. I think that's like the most fun part, in my opinion, is talking to people, coaching them through things. I love doing that. And 3, this is a big one, because if you haven't felt this way in your business, if I don't want to say you will feel this way, but it will pop up. But number 3 I have written down here is leaders who inspire want to be succeeded. So insecurity will steal your potential. When you start comparing your business to somebody else's business, oh, thank you. That's making me feel really good. I got a hype girl right here. Thank you, Nicole. Um, but insecurity will want to steal your potential. It'll want the comparison. Like, you actually want your team to do better than you, right? Like, there's things that I went through in my first year of my business that I never want anybody to go through that joins me to ever go through that in their first year of doing their business. So for and leaders who inspire reproduce themselves. They inspire enthusiasm, right? Natalie's great at that. Just so enthusiastic. If you're not enthusiastic and if you're not excited about what you're doing, no one's going to want to do what you do. It's very simple. No one's going to want to follow you if what you think you do is boring and you don't like it. Who's going to join you if you're miserable? Literally nobody. Leaders who inspire, they say we and let's. And I think that's one that I really love to remind myself of, because I want to create an environment of community. And you cannot create that if you're always saying I, right? Like I think I think we degrade the word leadership when we attached it to bossiness, right? Because that's not leadership. Um, so let's, like I'll say, especially when we're doing an event, I'll tell someone, let's do an event. Like we should do an event, right? Instead of saying like, I think you should do an event, like instead of using that just creating that community environment of we're in this together. 7, leaders have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset, right? So we're not here reinventing the wheel, but we also want to be open-minded. We want to be open-minded to new ideas and new things. 8, leaders have hard conversations, and this is a tough one. Leaders have hard conversations, but they never stop being empathetic. And I think that's something really important. I shared some stuff in my stories the other day. I think it was even Natasha. She was like, wow, you said that a lot nicer than I would have said that. I think it was like some COVID stuff. And it had me thinking like, it's so important that when we make our point and we want to share something, that we're still aware of people's hearts, like, hey, we're in a team, but that doesn't mean that we don't correct. And that doesn't mean that we don't have those hard conversations. We need to have them. They're going to happen. If you haven't had hard conversations and you have a team of people, like we're in the business of people, we're going to have hard conversations, and it's okay. There's so much growth that happens when you have those hard conversations. And there's a way to do it without sounding like you're bossing people around or you're telling people what to do. You speak truth in love. And that's something that, if you read the book of Proverbs, it's where I try to read like a proverb a day. It's so important, because leaders also have wisdom. You have to have wisdom when you deal with people. Um, And so being willing to correct and teach, and then being teachable too. Like we don't know it all. Like if you have a team, like there's so many things that you don't know about your team. So, and like Natalie always says, and we always literally say this, nobody likes a know-it-all. So don't be a know-it-all. Leaders listen. They listen well and they ask questions. I'm always telling my team, like, we need to ask more questions. We have to ask more questions. We want to get down to the root of whether it be something you're coaching someone in, or just even a customer. Just asking questions is always so important. 10, this is one of my love languages, which is affirmation, but leaders always affirm, and they call out the golden people over and over again, right? Like if you've had someone, I've had Natalie, in my corner, call out the golden me numerous times. She has called it out, and I'm so grateful, because that's a beautiful sign of leadership when you can call that out of people. Knowing your why. So I just wanted to kind of share that and then go into my three points here. But know your why. And I think this is so funny, because if you want to be a leader who inspires and you don't know your why, there's no way in hell you're going to call that out in someone else. Like, it's funny because it wasn't up till last year, that, literally in therapy, I had like an aha moment and I realized that, you know, sure, talking to your therapist, and, retelling stories and, um, maybe even crying to your therapist, all of that is great. But if you don't get down to the why, you will not have breakthrough. You won't. So I can tell my therapist about like this thing I went through, but I want to know why I got so worked up about it. I want to know why that was such a big deal to me. I want to know why I can't connect to certain emotions. That's what I want to know. And so it's not until I have those big why moments and I get like this clarity that I have the breakthrough. And so it's kind of like that with your why and why you're doing this. If you don't know your why, you won't have the breakthrough. And it's funny because this clarity came to me last year because I always thought it was like it's so cheesy that everybody's talking about their freaking why. Like, for a big part of my business, I was so disconnected. And I was just like, I mean, yeah, I'm doing this because I had my reasons, but um I couldn't connect with it in a deeper way up until maybe last year. So that's crazy, right? Like all that time, you can still go through the motions and do the things, but if you're not connected to your why, you're gonna have that constant wall that you're gonna hit. So know your why, because that's where the breakthrough comes. Um, you want to get to the root of your behaviors and motivations, and that's why knowing our why is crucial. Like I said, if you don't know your why, you can't develop and coach others to know theirs. It's just not going to happen. That kind of breakthrough, it can't be taught, it has to be experienced. And coaching someone through that, talking someone through that is going to be huge. That's what's going to ground your people. It's going to be the foundation. And so if you're here, if you've been like watching a lot of training videos and you constantly hear the diamonds talking about your why, it's really important. Like it's not cheesy, like I thought it was cheesy for a long time. For a long time, I was like, all right, just tell me how else I can get to the top. Like, but it's just really, really important. Um, know your priorities. I think this one is something that we have talked about many times before. But what comes first to you? What's a non-negotiable? What are some things that you cannot go to sleep without doing? Literally like drinking water. Like you need to know what your priorities are. Um, Leaders who inspire know that they need a growth mindset. So they make growth a priority. So, and I thought this was interesting too. Like, you hear people say like, this is a top priority, this is a top priority. But if you have everything as a top priority, literally nothing is your top priority. So really get down to figuring out like what is your top priority, because everything is not the most important. You have to figure out what are your priorities. um if you don't know your priorities, it's totally fine. Let's figure it out. If you want to include plexus and you really want to, say, I want my business to be a top priority. I want to be a leader who inspires. I want to do this. I want to be more in than what I'm already in. Get a pen and a paper, write down the vision for your life. Make a list. Like, what do you do on a regular basis that is something you have to do? Maybe it's working out, maybe it's whatever. Write things down that you wish you had time for, because truth is you probably do have time for it. And then categorize your list. Choose all your categories, but keep them close to only 3 to 4. Because like I said, if you have too many things as your top priority, then nothing is your top priority. You can have a family category, for example, a wellness category, for example. You can have a business category, which I hope that we all do. We all have a business category and business goals and ideas and ways you want to grow. And it's just important to, I think for me, I've done that many times where I've had so many things at the top of my list. And it's like, these are too many things. Choose your things. And then know your desired results. What do you want? And I keep thinking about every time I like literally wrote it down, like, okay, know your desired results. What do you want? What do I want? And I just keep thinking of the scene, Noah, um, the Notebook. What do you want? Like, what do you want? But really, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want with your life? What do you want in this business? What do you want your family to look like? Because when you become a leader who inspires, that's not just for your business, that's for your family. That's for your friends, for the people in your community. Like, everyone gets blessed when you make the choice and choose inspiration and choose to inspire people and choose to be the leader that you can be. So write it down, literally. What do I want? What do I want? What do you want with this business? If you say, I want to be Emerald by July, great. This is awesome. These are your desired results. Those are mine. You like, this is what I want. And now we can work around my priorities. And I already have a foundation of why I'm doing this. And now I can move forward. And all of this is so important, because if you don't have any of that down, it's going to be really hard to coach a team of people, to be that, right? Don't we all want leaders who inspire? Kylie inspires me literally every freaking day. I'm inspired by Kylie. Every day. It's a dream to have someone on my team that I can draw inspiration from. That's a freaking dream. And so be that. If that's what you want, be that. I think that's all what we all want. And so anyway, okay. So that pretty much concludes my little talk on leadership. Leaders who inspire. If anybody wants to, I don't know, Nat, if you wanted to add anything.
Thank you so much, Nat. Yeah, that was so good. That was so good. Like, so many awesome things. Please put your notes in comment love. That would be awesome. I want to copy and paste that and save that, because that is so good. Amazing points. So thank you so much. I mean, you got it covered. I have nothing to add. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Natalie. Killed it. And what?
Said, love you guys.
Love you. We'll post the link to the next call. I think it's going to go really well with what Natalie just put down for us. So we'll see y'all on the next call. Have a great night.